Why is women's football so hated? A simple search for women's football on any video or social media platform inevitably brings up two categories of videos. We either have the comedy videos with footballing mistakes, Piers Morgan's disgusting face spouting rubbish, and pieces on why women athletes should not be paid as much as men, or the other category, which is objectifying. For someone looking to become more acquainted with the rising power that is women's football, it is daunting. No matter if we are talking about a male, would-be fan like me, or even worse, young girls looking to watch clips of their favorite players. So this is why I think it's best that I, a man, should lecture everybody on why this happens. It seems that any insecure man with a platform has decided to go on some kind of crusade in order to prove to everybody that the athletes who have the same biological composition as them are better than everybody else. The very same athletes who don't even know or care that these idiots breathe are hero worshipped and put on pedestals, and if somehow allegations against them come out, it is always somebody else's fault. With the same levels of mania displayed as a 15-year-old girl when it comes to their favorite K-pop band, some male football fans see the women's game as a threat or an affront to the male game, despite being two wholly separate and very different entities. This perceived affront is in no part brought about by the increased popularity and success that the female part of football has received over the recent years. Landmark sold-out games in the Camp Nou, an increase in viewership figures, and the 2020 Equal Pay Agreement in the US have supercharged female football and no doubt irked many incels. We seem to be headed to a sporting landscape similar to that of tennis, where both male and female players are almost equally respected and gather roughly similar crowds and sponsorship earnings. The future is what scares these reactionaries. A future where they would be acutely aware of the fact that the women athlete is better than them. After growing up and being basically told that you are better than half of the world's population by default, the reality check that life gives you can be pretty harsh. Some realize that the value of a human being transcends their gender or social status and go on to become normal people who can integrate in society. Some remain firmly rooted in their mother's basements, persuaded by the internet that the world is against them. Their hatred thus gains many outlets, especially on the internet, with some of them who are football fans zeroing in on this niche, with the reasons for their hatred becoming apparent, namely insecurity and frustration. These two sentiments usually come from a sense of unfulfillment and leads them to grasp at straws in order to either justify their failings or convince themselves that it's not all bad and that there are lesser people out there than them. However, when those perceived lesser people are winning Champions Leagues in front of packed stadiums and appear in adverts everywhere, their worldview takes a hit. Basically, it boils down to the fact that a girl can be better at football than you, which is a hard pill for most men who take pride in their gender to swallow. In order to avoid this cataclysmic realization, they start employing more levers than Barcelona to justify in front of the whole world that any male is inherently better at football than the best female professional player. Armed with this hatred, they scour the internet to find the most comical mistakes female players have made, seemingly forgetting that male players continue to drop absolute howlers at every level of the game, from the Vanarama National League to the Champions League final. Alongside this highlight reel of hatred, we find the usual content portraying female players as sex objects. What I find particularly funny is that those videos elicit the response that they are not professional athletes that should be taken seriously, seeing as they post or appear in material that displays their natural beauty, once again forgetting that almost all professional male footballers have done countless ads for underwear. As with any shift in society, a paralytic fear surges through some of its members that do not wish to accept its changes. However, as history shows us, those are usually the ones that get left behind, ultimately ending up being ignored, which is the perfect way to deal with them. Let me know in the comments whether or not you agree with these views and if there are any other reasons, and if you like this content, make sure to like and follow.